The approach. The massive warship Sovereign Dominion emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its sleek obsidian hull absorbing rather than reflecting the distant sunlight. Commander Vorzath stood on a command bridge, his tall, slender form towering over the other Valen officers. His iridescent scales shifted from deep purple to midnight blue as he studied the holographic display of the third planet. "Analysis of the target world," he commanded, his voice a low, resonant hum. Science Officer Miral stepped forward, her forearms deftly manipulating the control interface. "The inhabitants call it Earth, Commander. Population approximately 8 billion. Technology level, moderate. They've achieved nuclear capabilities, rudimentary space travel limited to their own moon, and unmanned probes to nearby planets. No evidence of faster-than-light technology or energy shields." Vorzath's vertical pupils narrowed. "Military capabilities. Primitive, Commander. Nuclear weapons, conventional armies. Their space presence consists only of satellites and a small orbital station. No defensive platforms detected." The commander circled the hologram, 7 fingers tapping against his ceremonial breastplate. In his 3 centuries of service to the Valen Imperium, he had overseen the conquest of 17 worlds. Earth would be the 18th, another jewel in the Imperium's crown of over 300 subjugated civilizations. "They're divided politically?" he asked. "Yes, Commander. Nearly 200 separate nation-states, some allied, many in conflict." A predatory smile revealed Vorzath's serrated teeth. "Perfect. The standard approach, then. Initiate first contact protocols. We'll offer them protection, advanced technology, medical breakthroughs, all the usual incentives." "And if they refuse integration?" asked Miral, though she already knew the answer. "Then we demonstrate our power and negotiate with whoever remains," Vorzath replied coldly. "Prepare the diplomatic shuttle. I will lead the contact team myself." As the Sovereign Dominion glided silently past the gas giants of the outer system, 12 smaller vessels detached from the mammoth carrier ship, scout craft dispatched to gather more detailed intelligence before the formal approach. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to the general public, Director Elena Chen watched the approaching alien fleet on a massive quantum display wall. The room hummed with quiet efficiency as hundreds of operators monitored data streams at their stations. "Status report," she ordered. General Marcus Rhodes, head of Earth's Unified Defense Command, stepped forward. "The Valen fleet is proceeding exactly as anticipated, Director. Their scout ships are deploying in standard search pattern. Our quantum masking is holding. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. And nothing more," Chen added with quiet satisfaction. 50 years ago, humanity had detected the first definitive evidence of alien civilizations through quantum distortion signatures. Rather than announcing this discovery to the public, world leaders had made an unprecedented decision. Earth would prepare in secret, while maintaining the appearance of slow technological progress and political division. Humanity had unified behind closed doors, pooling resources to develop technologies along an entirely different path than the standard galactic evolution. "Are they following the expected first contact protocols?" asked Chen. Rhodes nodded. "To the letter. Their flagship is positioning itself in high Earth orbit. They're scanning our communications, building language databases. Our surface technology is performing as designed, letting them see only what reinforces their preconceptions." Chen turned to Dr. Imani Okafor, Chief of Tenopsychology. "Your assessment?" "The Valen operate on a consistent pattern documented in our deep space observations," Dr. Okafor explained. "They approach seemingly primitive worlds, offer technological and medical advancements, and gradually establish dominance. When resistance occurs, they demonstrate overwhelming force. Within a generation, the conquered species is fully integrated or eliminated." "Not this time," Chen said softly. "Activate Deception Protocol Phase 2. Let's invite our visitors down." On the bridge of the Sovereign Dominion, Tactical Officer Zevran approached Commander Vorzath with a troubled expression. "Commander, something is unusual about this planet." Vorzath turned impatiently. "Explain." "The humans appear technologically stagnant. Their development timeline shows they achieved nuclear capability nearly a century ago, yet their advancement since then has been minimal. They've had the same basic satellite technology for decades. Perhaps they're simply not very intelligent," Vorzath suggested dismissively. "That's not consistent with their cultural output, sir. Their arts, literature, and scientific theories show remarkable creativity and insight. It's as if..." "As if what, officer?" "As if they're deliberately underachieving, Commander." Vorzath considered this for a moment, then shook his head. "You're overthinking. We've seen this pattern before, species that reach a certain technological threshold and then plateau due to resource limitations or social instability. Their political divisions explain their lack of progress. Yet as the massive ship positioned itself in orbit, a strange sensation crept along Vorzath's spine, a warrior's instinct that had saved him in countless battles. Something about Earth didn't quite add up. "Initiate deeper scans," he ordered suddenly. "Look for anything unusual. Hidden facilities, power signatures, anything not consistent with their apparent technology level." The crew hurried to comply, and for several minutes, silence dominated the bridge. "Nothing unusual detected, Commander," reported Mural after completing the scan. "Their energy production relies primarily on fossil fuels, nuclear, and rudimentary solar collection. Military bases are as expected for their development level. No anomalous readings." Vorzath nodded, but the unease persisted. "Perhaps I'm being overly cautious. Proceed with first contact. Send the standard greeting message on all frequencies." In the United Nations headquarters in New York, the public face of Earth's governance, Secretary General Alejandro Reyes stood before assembled world leaders. The meeting was being broadcast globally, ensuring the Valen observers would see it. "We have received communication from an extraterrestrial civilization," he announced with well-rehearsed amazement and apprehension. "They call themselves the Valen and claim to come in peace." The assembled delegates erupted in controlled chaos, expressions of shock, fear, and wonder that masked the fact that every person in the room had been briefed years ago for this exact scenario. Meanwhile, in the mountain complex, Director Chen watched the performance with approval before turning to her communications officer. "Accept their invitation for a diplomatic meeting. Tell them Earth's leaders would be honored to welcome them." On a separate screen, she observed the Valen diplomatic shuttle departing from the mothership. Phase 3 of the Deception Protocol was about to begin. Commander Vorzath adjusted his ceremonial armor as the diplomatic shuttle entered Earth's atmosphere. With him were 11 high-ranking officers, all wearing the formal regalia that had intimidated countless species before. "Remember," he instructed his team, "present ourselves as benefactors. Emphasize medical technology and energy production advancements. Don't mention resource extraction or military service requirements until after they accept our protection." The shuttle descended toward the designated landing site, an open field near the United Nations building. As they approached, Vorzath studied the primitive human vehicles and structures with contempt. This would be one of the easier worlds to bring into the Imperium. Yet that nagging sensation wouldn't leave him. Why would a species with nuclear technology still rely so heavily on combustion engines? Why would a species capable of space travel have such a minimal presence beyond their own atmosphere? As the shuttle touched down and the landing ramp extended, Vorzath pushed these thoughts aside. He had conquered worlds far more advanced than this one. Humans would either serve the Imperium or be removed, the same choice given to hundreds of species before them. What Vorzath didn't know was that 50 meters beneath his feet, in a facility shielded by technology the Valen couldn't detect, Earth's true leaders watched his every move. And they were smiling. The revelation. The meeting room in the United Nations building had been meticulously prepared for first contact. Long tables arranged in a horseshoe pattern faced a central podium, behind which hung the flags of Earth's nations, a carefully crafted image of planetary division. Commander Vorzath and his delegation were escorted in with great ceremony by an honor guard of uniformed humans. Secretary General Reyes stepped forward, extending his hand in greeting. "On behalf of the people of Earth, I welcome you to our world. We are honored by your presence and eager to establish peaceful relations between our civilizations." Vorzath ignored the outstretched hand, as was Valen custom with lesser species. "The Valen Imperium acknowledges your greeting. We have traveled far to offer Earth membership in our galactic community." The commander activated a holographic projector on his wrist, displaying a three-dimensional map of the galaxy with hundreds of stars highlighted in purple. "These are the worlds under Valen protection. We bring prosperity, advanced technology, and security to all who join us." Murmurs of awe rippled through the assembled human delegates, all perfectly rehearsed. "We are but a humble species," Reyes replied with practiced humility. "Earth would be grateful for any knowledge your advanced civilization might share." Vorzath smiled, revealing his predatory teeth. This was proceeding exactly as expected. "We can offer medical technology that would extend your lifespans by centuries. Energy production methods that would eliminate your dependence on fossil fuels. Faster than light travel. All these can be yours, in exchange for your allegiance and certain reasonable concessions." Secretary General Reyes nodded thoughtfully. "These are generous offers indeed. Before we proceed, perhaps you would share more about these concessions." Vorzath hesitated. Usually, this discussion came later, after impressing the primitive species with demonstrations of Valen technology. But he saw no harm in outlining the basics. The Imperium would require access to certain natural resources, a modest contribution of your population for service in our fleet, and the establishment of several Valen bases on your world to ensure your protection. "Protection from what exactly?" a new voice asked. Vorzath turned to see a woman entering the chamber. She wore a simple blue uniform with no adornments save a small silver pin on her collar. Director Elena Chen, though the Valen commander knew her only as another human diplomat. "The galaxy is filled with dangers," Vorzath replied smoothly. "Hostile species, cosmic phenomena. The Imperium's protection is valuable." Chen smiled, an expression that didn't reach her eyes. "Protection from threats like the Valen themselves, perhaps. Species who approach seemingly primitive worlds, offer technological and medical advancements, then gradually establish dominance. Who, when faced with resistance, demonstrate overwhelming force until the conquered species is fully integrated or eliminated." Vorzath's scales shifted to a dark red as his posture stiffened. "You speak of matters beyond your understanding." "Do I?" Chen stepped to a control panel and pressed her palm against it. The room's lights dimmed, and a holographic display activated, showing the complete Valen fleet in perfect detail, including ships hidden beyond the moon that Vorzath had not mentioned. "We have been observing the Valen Imperium for decades, Commander Vorzath. We've documented your conquests of the Trilari, the Mox Hegemony, and most recently, the Pax Confederation. We've analyzed your weapons, your tactics, your standard conquest protocols." Vorzath's hand moved toward his concealed weapon, but he froze as he realized every human in the room had drawn previously hidden firearms, all trained on the Valen delegation. "This is some trick," he snarled. "Your species barely has interplanetary capability. You could not possibly." "Oh, but we could," Chen interrupted, pressing another control. The entire building shuddered slightly, and through the windows, Vorzath watched in disbelief as the city outside changed. Like a veil being lifted, the primitive skyline of New York transformed. Skyscrapers shifted, revealing sleek structures of materials he didn't recognize. Vehicles that had appeared to use wheels now hovered silently above the ground. And in the sky above, the air seemed to ripple as hundreds of craft appeared where moments before there had been nothing. "What you have been seeing, Commander, is what we wanted you to see," Chen explained calmly. "For 50 years, Earth has maintained a facade, a carefully constructed illusion designed specifically for species like yours. On the bridge of the Sovereign Dominion, alarms blared as sensors suddenly detected thousands of previously invisible objects in Earth orbit. "Impossible," exclaimed Tactical Officer Zevran. "They're everywhere. How did we not detect them?" Science Officer Mirael worked frantically at her console. "They're using some kind of quantum masking technology, operating on principles I don't understand. Our scans passed right through them, as if they weren't there." "Battle stations," ordered Sub-Commander Krulvor. "Raise shields. Power weapons." But before the crew could comply, every system on the massive warship suddenly went dark. Auxiliary power activated moments later, providing life support and minimal functionality, but weapons, shields, and propulsion remained offline. "What's happening?" demanded Krulvor. "Some kind of energy pulse," Mirael responded, her voice shaking. "It penetrated our shields as if they weren't there. I've never seen anything like it." Outside, Earth's true orbital defense fleet became visible. Thousands of sleek vessels surrounding the Violent ships in perfect formation. Back in the meeting room, Vorzath stared at the live feed showing his disabled flagship. "Your conquest protocol has one fundamental flaw, Commander," Chen said. "It assumes technological development follows a predictable path. When we discovered evidence of alien civilizations, we chose a different path, while maintaining the appearance of slow progress and political division. Humanity unified in secret, developing technologies along lines no other species has explored." She gestured, and the holographic display changed to show underground facilities, orbiting shipyards hidden behind the moon, and vast energy production centers, all previously invisible to Valen scans. "We could have announced ourselves to the galaxy 50 years ago. Instead, we watched and learned. We studied the Valen and dozens of other expansionist empires. We prepared, knowing that eventually one of you would find us. If you mean to destroy us, why this meeting?" Vorzath asked, his voice low with controlled rage. "Because genocide is not our way, Commander. We're offering you a choice, the same false choice the Valen have offered hundreds of species before you." Chen nodded to Secretary General Reyes, who continued, "The Valen Imperium will immediately withdraw from the Sol system. You will designate Earth and its colonies as a sovereign territory, not to be approached without explicit invitation. In exchange, we will allow your fleet to depart intact, and we will not share our quantum masking technology with the species you've subjugated." "And if we refuse?" Vorzath growled. Chen smiled again, this time with genuine amusement. "Commander, your weapons are disabled, your communications are blocked, and your engines are offline. Refusal is not tactically viable." 3 days later, the Valen fleet limped away from the Sol system, their ships partially restored but their prize shattered. On the bridge of the Sovereign Dominion, Commander Vorzath prepared his report to the Imperial Council, a report that would shake the foundations of the Imperium's expansion strategy. "We encountered a species unlike any we have faced before," he dictated. "Humans do not follow the standard technological evolution pattern. They developed in secret, creating technologies we cannot counter or even fully understand." He paused, looking at the distant blue planet through the view screen. "I recommend designating Earth as a Class 1 restricted zone. No Valen ship should approach their territory. These humans, they let us see only what they wanted us to see, and I fear what remains hidden may be more terrifying still." As the damaged fleet entered hyperspace, Earth's Defense Council gathered in their mountain facility. "Phase 1 of Galactic Introduction complete," Director Chen announced. "The Valen will spread word of Earth throughout the galaxy. Our reputation will be established without firing a single shot in anger." General Rhodes nodded in approval. "And our actual military capabilities remain largely unknown. The energy pulse was impressive, but we revealed only a fraction of our true technology." "What's next?" asked Dr. Okafor. Chen studied the galactic map, now updated with all they had learned from the Valen databases. "Now we implement Phase 2, Selective contact with non-expansionist species. There are peaceful civilizations out there who would make valuable allies. She pointed to several star systems highlighted in green. And there are enslaved worlds that might welcome liberation from their violent oppressors. The assembled leaders nodded in agreement. Humanity had passed its first major test as a galactic power. They had been preparing for this moment for half a century, developing in secret, maintaining the facade of division while actually unified, creating technologies along paths no other species had explored. The deception protocol had worked perfectly. Earth had established itself not through conquest or intimidation, but through strategic revelation of power. The galaxy would soon learn that humans were not to be underestimated, a lesson the Valen had learned too late. As the Valen fleet disappeared into hyperspace, Earth's true defense fleet resumed its invisible vigil. The facade of a primitive, divided world was maintained for the general public, but now a select few alien civilizations would be invited to see behind the veil. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not as conquerors or the conquered, but as something far more interesting, a complete unknown.